Welcome to my 1999 Z3M Coupe interior. Yes, it's clowny in here. Yes, it's black and blue and black. Deal with it. Our buddy Kurt K. Photo recently asked us if this was an alternate universe and we all lived in Texas, what trucks would we drive? And they'd have to be American trucks. And instead of driving while awesome, this would be trucking while awesome. So, for me, the first thing that came to mind was early 90s Chevy Silverado NASCAR style. So like a NASCAR tribute, lowered, big fat white steelies on meaty rubber. I tried rock slicks everywhere I could. White stenciled Goodyear lettering probably. And I would actually keep my AC. This is Texas, and I would love to drive my truck everywhere. So I would probably keep the AC. Maybe no carpet, just really clean floor with some nice mats. I don't even know if we would have a stereo in there, but it would just be so freaking loud. I imagine, like, just probably straight piped. 454 possibly in there, worked over, blacked out. Kind of like that one, I think it was Rick who posted on our Radwood official Instagram feed, Dale Earnhardt tribute truck that is basically what I'm describing. And of course, you got to have the NASCAR spoiler in the back, tonneau cover, hard cover on the bed, and air dam in the front. And I would take it to COTA and show the boys what's up. I would probably live in Austin, and that would be kind of one of my things. I love the underdog kind of concept in general, and in this case, having like a Chevy pickup truck from the early 90s that can out-handle all them boys and them bimmers would be kind of a main goal. And I would make her handle good. So, like, super well handling, early 90s Chevy Silverado pickup truck. That would be my choice. If I could have two trucks, which I would likely have, I mean, I usually have more than one car, as we all do, I would do an off-road setup, so it would likely be a Raptor. I mean, it's kind of the go-to. I would do the LS Raptor, previous gen. I mean, I like the idea of hauling ass and being able to jump over shit on dirt roads and gravel roads and hill country. So that would be my second choice. And that way I can have myself a bow tie, and I could also do an oval. So we'll do a Ford and a Chevy. Mix up the garage there a bit. Variety is the spice of life, right? So those would be my two choices, I think. I mean, if this was open to all trucks, I guess Texas would be less relevant, except that maybe you just have open flat roads and then versus more twisty mountain stuff, but I think that's regional. That being said, if it was open to all makes and it was not related to where I lived, or that was as important, I would go with a bowler. I love me a British bowler, like, as a truck. That concept is just so sick. Basically full on rally short wheelbase truck thing with a hard top, and capable as hell, fly over shit, and handles relatively well. Again, it's very off-road focused, but that would probably be my main choice. That's kind of like my dream style of a build. I really like old Land Rovers. Yes, they're not the best in the world and all that, and more modern stuff is more capable, but it's just, I just love the aesthetic. I love the feel that you have in them, the sense of occasion, right? So that would probably be my other choice. And then I do have a thing for 80s 4Runners, the graphics. So that's another kind of option that I would be into. But yeah, my main choices though, and especially American choices, would be early 90s Chevy Silverado, NASCAR Tribute, track focused, and basically a Raptor. I mean, I don't know if I would build something myself. I mean, I think it's more cost effective to just buy it now.
Welcome to Driving While Awesome. My name is Warren, and I am coming to you live, well, semi-live, from a 1995 Mitsubishi Mighty Max. Now, my intention was to record this video while I was driving, but the suspension on this particular truck is so awful that the camera would not stay still, and I think you'll thank me for that. So, we are answering Kurt K. Photo's question from Instagram, and his question was about Texas trucks and what we would be talking about. And that is an interesting question, considering I've never really been to Texas, a couple layovers here and there, so I can't say exactly what I would be feeling if I was doing a truck show from Texas, but I'm in a Mitsubishi Mighty Max. This is what Driving While Awesome would call a Gardener's Special, a very simple truck, 4-cylinder, 2-wheel drive, manual transmission, no power steering, nothing. I mean, there's a very famous YouTube video, tens of likes and views, that you can watch for more information on said Mighty Max. But I do appreciate these trucks quite a bit. It's a lot of truck for what most people need a truck for, but nowadays trucks have turned into cars, and they need to be comfortable and spacious and have all the goodies. So these trucks wouldn't sell very well today, unfortunately, but I'm glad they exist, and I'm glad I have this one. When I was autocrossing, there was people that would drive trucks not like this, but like a Chevy S10 lowered with sticky rubber, and I always thought that was kind of interesting because you're really starting off behind the 8-ball with a truck, obviously. But here in Santa Cruz, there's people that use these trucks as kind of rally cars up in the mountains and hills, and like a Toyota pickup or even a Mighty Max like this, I guess, you would lower it and put good suspension on it and short shift and all that stuff and kind of have fun. So dual purpose, and it was kind of an interesting idea. Having said all that, I would go with street style, which you may be asking yourself, what is street style? I don't really know. All I know is what I think of if I close my eyes and I think street style. It's basically the cross between a C10 and a NASCAR truck, whatever the series is called now, Craftsman, I don't know, but something in between there. So think like first gen Ford Lightning or Chevy 454 Super Sport. It's got to be a single standard cab, short bed, square, more square the better. Perfect stance, not too low, not slammed, obviously not lifted. Big rubber, like meaty, wide tires, maybe like Aero NASCAR wheels, maybe a subtle graphic or two on the side or across the windscreen, something like that. Period correct, the more period correct the better. So yeah, a Chevy SS 454 is a pretty good one, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. So that's what I would be talking about, but I would not ever kick one of these trucks out of bed, so to speak. A bullet side Datsun, a early Toyota pickup truck, the small guy, something like that. So I hope that answers the question. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. See ya.
All right, this is Brian, reporting from ZR None. Didn't have my mount stuff, so I've got to handhold the camera with my hand on the steering wheel while driving, but I swear it's safe. I think it should be good. I'm not going to look at the camera, I'm going to look at the road. So, my thoughts on Kurt's question. I like it. I like his podcast idea. I kind of want to have a Trucks While Awesome podcast. I would have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm down with that stuff. If we had a Trucking While Awesome podcast, we would I feel like, be in an alternate universe where we're in a whole truck ecosystem, just like in Northern California where we're at. We have a lot of windy roads that are great for sports cars, and we're into sports cars. If we were doing the truck thing, we would probably be in a location that was great for that, with a ton of trails and places to go without driving too far. World-class stuff. So I don't know exactly where that is, but that's the universe that I'm picturing. And my current lay of the land with my car quiver is, one, I've got an e-Golf for my daily driver commuter stuff, but I'm almost writing that off. I don't even think that's a thing. So I have two fun cars right now. The 64 Buick Skylark convertible, the classic, and with a top that comes off. That's good. And then I have ZR9, this Corvette I'm driving right now, the 1985 C4 Corvette. The cheap version of a sports car now. Like, you know, very low budget, but you get a lot of performance for the money. They are also known as pretty temperamental. But basically, I have a ratty example of a sports car that can function decent enough. So I think if we have this trucking podcast, you know, what are the equivalents of there? The answers that I'm coming up with are for my capable car, the ZR9 replacement. I'm thinking, it's hard for me to decide. I'm thinking it's either a Range Rover Classic, which with its triple lockers and size, ground clearance, departure angles, and all that stuff is all very capable, like a good fundamental design. It was also expensive when new, just like the Corvette, but there's a ton of trashy ones because they were super temperamental, and so they were expensive to fix, so a lot of people didn't care for them well. And I think that's kind of similar to Corvettes, maybe. So anyways, that would be my ZR9 equivalent, is a Range Rover Classic. Honorable second runner-up is the XJ Jeep Cherokees. So you can find a ton of those for cheap, and they're really capable. And that would be a fun one to just mob around in the off-road back roads. Then, the equivalent to my American Classic, I'm going a K5 Blazer. I don't even know what the model is. Is it like, so it's the round ones with the fully removable top. I think that'd be super fun. You do it on, find one, you know, they're pretty expensive now, but you find one in decent original shape. Make sure it has, you know, do what you can to get the original style steel wheels with kind of probably the skinnier tires, and just make it super original looking. Pull the top off. I think that'd be a really fun classic summer cruiser that could also be used as like a family camping vehicle and that sort of thing. And then, you know, I think I'd probably still have a commuter, so my e-Golf probably still stands. That's it. That's what I think. Tell us what you guys think in the comments below, or something like that. All right, I'm out.
All right, I guess it's my turn to answer Kurt's question on Instagram. In this scenario, I'm a good old boy from Texas, and I like my trucks. So, what am I gonna choose? This is kind of an easy one. I mean, it's kind of difficult because it's hard to picture myself being anyone else besides who I am, obviously. But I would think if I grew up in Texas, I would kind of still have the same. I would like the same aesthetic that I like now. Maybe not the same cars, but I would have the same kind of the same core values when it comes to cars, I would say. So, or trucks. And so I think, or I'm pretty positive actually, if I was in Texas and we had a show called Trucking While Awesome, I think I would go for, I mean, kind of what I like now, really. You know, 60s and 70s American pickup trucks. I really like a 62 Ford pickup. When I was in high school, we had I think 61 or 62 Ford unibody pickup, and I love that thing. And then yeah, I've always liked those. I like the 70s Fords and the Chevys, all those. So I think I would go, and then my dad had a really cool Dodge that I'm kind of kicking myself for not keeping. Just a couple years ago, we used to talk about it. It was in my driveway forever, but it was a forestry truck. So it was that really cool green. It had all this patina. You could kind of read it on the door where it said the forestry and everything, but it was kind of faded away. It was super rad. So I think I'd go for like a 62 Ford, short bed, just straight up single cab, short bed pickup, and with a truck, I'd want it nice, but not too nice, because it's a truck. So I go with that patinaed look, maybe like a medium pistachio green, or just a cool pale yellow, or something like that, and with a nice patina, and then kind of have a nice interior, you know, maybe upgrade the interior a little, not with all the billet and stuff like that, but just kind of the same aesthetic I have now, I think. So yeah, I think that's what I'd go for. Just a really simple kind of steel wheels, maybe some tiny baby moons, but probably just straight up steel wheels. Maybe push them out a tiny bit, and, you know, wider wheels than stock. Just kind of the same aesthetic that I think I like in sports cars. I would like in a truck, but, you know, I don't think I wouldn't lower it necessarily or anything like that. Just keeping the stock ride height and everything, maybe upgrading the suspension, making it a little bit nicer to drive, but I don't think I'd do anything crazy. I could see doing like a 62 Ford short bed single cab pickup with a Coyote motor and an automatic, I guess. I don't know. Is that sacrilege? I guess no. Fuck that. I go 4 on the floor, 5 on the floor. I'd do like or 6 on the floor. Why not? Just a new Mustang tranny. Although, don't those kind of suck? I don't know. Or maybe just an 80s 302 with a 5-speed out of like an 87 Mustang or something. That way I have the fuel injection and all that stuff, and it would be fine in that little truck. So yeah, that's my answer. Later.